gift of Husker power to Allo Fiber, powering your home and Husker Nation. Allo is the teammate you can trust. Whether you're streaming at home with Allo Internet, watching on the go with DirecTV through Allo, or checking stats and scores on Allo Mobile, Allo keeps you in the game. Bench the other guys and team up with the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of the Huskers. Go Gig Red. Visit allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Time for a new heating and cooling system? Get the options, brand, and efficiency that best fits your family and your home. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Make Hog Wild the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving feast. Pre-order a 12-pound whole smoked turkey or a 4-pound turkey breast for $55. A 4-pound boneless ham is $50. A complete meal includes your choice of a whole turkey or turkey breast, mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, green beans or corn, and a dozen rolls for $130. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com soon. Quantities are limited. All weights are approximate before cooking. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Come watch the Lincoln Stars on Saturday, November 15th as the Sioux Falls Stampede come to town. It's flyaway night as the Stars are giving away 2 round-trip flights to Orlando courtesy of the Lincoln Airport. Every ticket is a registration and you must be present at the game to win when the prize is drawn in the third period. There's no Husker volleyball or football game that night, so pack the icebox on Saturday, November 15th against the Sioux Falls Stampede for flyaway night.
And now, introducing the starting lineup of your Nebraska Huskers, starring Allo Fiber. At number 1, Allo Internet. At number 2, no satellite dish required. DirecTV through Allo. And at number 3, Allo Mobile. Allo Fiber, the official internet, TV, and mobile partner of Husker Nation. Level up your game and go to allofiber.com/Husker Radio.
Salt Mine City is your go-to brewery in the Haymarket for craft beers and great food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their Big Fatty 7-ounce hamburger or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. And don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 2 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 11 a.m. Friday through Sunday at 8th and R.
You've got used to one segment of Good Takes in the morning, but now there's a full show of Good Takes at night. Welcome into Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, welcome in Raff's Good Take on Sports. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. We got Chris Raff streaming in all the way down in Alabama. Harrison Arns in the beautiful capital city. Not so beautiful. It's kind of chilly and crappy out, if I'm being honest right now. But I think it's supposed to be better the rest of this week. Welcome in 402-464-5685. Chris Raff, how's it going? On a chilly Monday, like I said, at least here.
It's going pretty good. I'll tell you what, I woke up this morning. It was a brisk 26 degrees in Alabama.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So it's not that great over there.
It's like winter time for the next couple of days. However, it's supposed to get up to 70, I believe, on Wednesday. So we'll get back to our warmth. But yeah, it was, I think the high today only maybe got up to like 37, 38, maybe. It was chilly. And
so it's actually colder down there than it is up here. I'll stop complaining.
Yeah. Alabama, it's got the cold wave coming through. But like I said, we get back up to the 70s, high 60s here at the end of the week. So
that damn polar vortex. I think that's what it is, right? That makes its way down through from north to south. That makes it to the Gulf Coast eventually. Or no, do I got that one?
Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. I know that tomorrow I think it gets up to 50. So still a little bit chilly. But like I said, as the week moves on, it will get warmer again, thankfully. So I'm able to go back outside again because I really tried to stay out of it today. It was kind of windy down here, so it was like, yeah, it was chilly, and there was some snow flurries.
Yeah. It was chilly over the weekend. There's snow flurries Sunday, and down if you were a smart Nebraska fan who had enough funds nearby, you made a good decision. Get the hell out of Lincoln and go down to beautiful California. Wear shorts, enjoy the weather. I know DP just got back today, and he was talking about he left in shorts. He came back like, what the hell is this? It was not this bad last time I was here, but it was a beautiful weekend out there in California. And for all of us, we were sitting inside, staying in the warmth, but at least our hearts were warmed with a beautiful Husker win and just really good football to watch through the entire game.
Yeah, no, that was a good game for Nebraska. Got a road victory. I mean, road victories are hard to come by. I mean, no matter where you go. However, big advantage for Nebraska was that the travel was so good with Nebraska fans. I mean, it probably was 50-50 probably fan-wise in California. Because I know Nebraska's got a huge contingent of fans out in California and that Arizona area. It's always been strong out there. And I think with like the revival of Nebraska football, so to say, you're really seeing a lot of those Nebraska fans start to come back out of the woodwork again, because back in the day, Nebraska used to have watch parties, and I mean, they just pack up establishments all over Arizona, all over California. And then as the years went by, Nebraska wasn't successful and those watch parties kind of diminished. And now you're seeing them start to come back. And I know there was a ton of people out in California that, that wanted to see Nebraska play. And I know when they said that they were adding, UCLA and USC into the Big Ten, there were a lot of happy Husker fans, because then that gives them a chance to potentially see them, once a year out there. So, or twice if the schedule affords it. But yeah, it definitely is. It's cool to see that many fans show up to Nebraska road games. It definitely flashes me back to, I mean, it was crazy, back in the Big 8 days, but back in the Big 8 days, Nebraska, the travel people that would go down to Kansas State and Kansas and Iowa State when those programs were struggling mightily, those games were looked forward, with great anticipation by the opposing school, just to get all those Nebraska fans there, just to, sell tickets.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the Midwest, and we got an opportunity to go to a warm location. Phenomenal. Also, USC and UCLA, I mean, those are iconic stadiums to go play in. One, being the Rose Bowl, and obviously USC is just kind of one of those college football cathedrals, at least in my opinion, regardless of how packed that place gets. It's got so much history in there. It's an awesome opportunity for Husker fans. I mean, me personally, I had to work here, but I would have loved going out to California and getting out of this crappy weather. And again, you're going watching what is now not just to go get out of the cold weather, but, potentially to watch a good Husker football team. And that's, to your point, what's really helped change, not only help out with the travel, but also bring out, those fans that may have kind of gotten under the rocks after some 3-win seasons, some 4 or 5-win seasons. And it's like, I keep hosting these watch parties and people are not showing up anymore because we're just not even winning these ball games. But now it's getting to that point where there's that excitement there, and it's organic. It's not just one big game that we're all going to show up for. It's consistently. I mean, we're playing meaningful games in November. When is the last time we could say that?
It's been a while. It's been a pretty long while. I was going to ask
winning games in November, not just being in games that matter, but actually winning the games that matter. Because we've been in a lot of November games where it mattered because we needed to go bowling and we have 5 wins. But now we're at a point to where we already gotten bowling, and now we're just really playing like, how nice of a bowl game do we want to go to? If we win out, Citrus Bowl, maybe. I mean, it's on the table. If you think it's a long shot or not, it's still on the table.
Yeah, but then also if you lose out, then the Bad Boy Marlboro Bowl comes back into play probably. So
I know DP's excited to go back in that cold, wet. It's always like wet and rainy and sleeting that time of year.
Chilly, New York City.
Not the bowl game that you probably want to go to. When we first got to go, it was a big deal. We didn't care. We'd probably go to a bowl game in Brazil if that's where it was being held, or all the way across the sea. But this one, I mean, it's now that we've done and we've made a bowl game and we won a bowl game, it's like, obviously you want to do a little bit better. than the Pinstripe Bowl. No disrespect to it, but you want to move past.
It was good for the time, but now now it's to get into like those warmer climate bowl games, like no Idaho Potato Bowl or anything like that. We went something like in Florida or Arizona or California or something like that. I was going to ask you too about the Rose Bowl. So there's a lot of discussion that UCLA is potentially going to move their home games to SoFi eventually, and they'll leave the Rose Bowl as their home field. Do you think that the Rose Bowl should be the permanent home for the national championship game?
I mean, hold on, UCLA might move out of there?
Yeah, there's discussion that they're talking about maybe moving to SoFi and playing their home games there. Because it actually
SoFi, they can't even pick the Rose Bowl.
Well, the Rose Bowl is it's kind of a pain logistically to get in and get out of, and the distance that it is from the campus of UCLA. So they're trying to think of ways to get it closer to, and SoFi plays into that, where it'd be logistically not as big of a nightmare. I guess it would be on the field crew changing the end zones from UCLA to the Raiders or the Rams, or the Raiders or the the Rams or the Chargers. Sorry, Raiders. So that would be on the field crew. However, the Rose Bowl, like I remember when we went to the Rose Bowl, it was a logistical nightmare. Like it's a great, like when you're inside the stadium, the feeling of it reminded me of a lot of the old Orange Bowl in Miami, where you could just feel that big game atmosphere. So I've always been a big, strong proponent. I think the national championship game should be at the Rose Bowl every year, just for I don't know, just the feel of it. And where Keith Jackson, they made a big deal about Keith Jackson's booth, So I think if the Rose Bowl loses UCLA, I think they should make a strong push to host the national championship game there every year.
Yeah, I mean, you can, like, what's capacity? 100? If you use full, like over 100, like it, to me, until it's at a point to where it's just run down and not usable, I like the idea of playing the championships there. I like an iconic location, and that's one of the most iconic ones you can get. That's my mind. I mean, some people might say it's too outdated, X, Y, and Z, but you can still pack 100,000 people in there. It's an awesome location. You're going to get guaranteed good weather. There's a lot of cons to it. The only negative being it's a little bit outdated, but you can spend some money and renovate that.
Yeah, and I know that Kirk Herbstreit's been a big strong proponent of also that should be the host field of the national championship game. Which, I mean, some people, I mean, you're going to have the other bowl games are going to be upset, of course, the Orange Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, and all your major bowls that have that potential to host that national championship game. But just the atmosphere and the feeling of it, I just think the Rose Bowl, I think that's the place where they should play the national championship game every year. I think that'd be a cool spot, a cool location. And there's definitely, I never had no complaints going to the Rose Bowl. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, nobody had complaints who went over there this weekend. Well, there was some fans. I being DP, if you hang around for late night in Lincoln, DP might tell you some stories, but there was some disputes that may or may not have happened near the Rose Bowl vicinity involving some fans of two different programs.
See, that was the thing about the Rose Bowl was the logistics of it. Like doing it just one time a year, I could understand. But I mean, I remember going into the game was okay, but leaving that night, they like shuttle buses. You have to get in the bus and they shuttle you out. And we ended up just walking like 2 miles back to the hotel. I mean, it was crazy. It was like, just get us out of here. I mean, it hurt worse that Nebraska lost, but it still was one of those stadiums because it sits kind of down on a golf course. It's a wild facility, but it's a cool, once you're inside of it, you can feel the history. I mean, it's like it had that, reminiscent of what the old Orange Bowl felt like. Like that's the one thing they've never been able to capture with the new Orange Bowl is playing at Joe Robbie. I almost said Joe Robbie, but Hard Rock. It just doesn't have that same old feeling that the old Orange Bowl in Miami had. I mean, that was just a special place. You could feel Joe Namath running off the field. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, and that's where I think the money's there to renovate it. Like I'm always big on preserving history, like especially with buildings and architecture. It breaks my heart when you see a place that was full of history just kind of like, we'll turn the page and start build something new and let the old place just kind of rot, or we'll pass it along. And it gets to a point where it gets passed on and the history is kind of gone because it's just a hand-me-down history bowl. So,
but I'm trying to think where, I guess you have the Sugar Bowl, the Superdome that's been around for a while now. So, I mean, but your majestic cathedrals of, college football bowl games. I mean, you're pretty much down to the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl now, because, the Orange Bowl switched locations a few times. The Fiesta Bowl used to be at the Fiesta Bowl. Now it's played at Phoenix, University of Phoenix Stadium. So I mean, so yeah, you got to hang on to your history a little bit. I just think that Rose Bowl would be the perfect place.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the history to it, and again, for how much money I see going into upgrading a lot of these places and building brand new ones, and the coach buyouts, it's like you can put a little bit more money collectively to make that place nice. If logistics are such a problem, I'm almost certain that cleaning that up would be cheaper than starting completely fresh, and then you also get to preserve the history that's within it. And the capacity's there, and I don't think it would be a major overhaul of the actual stadium. It'd be about figuring out outside the stadium, like how can we set this up to make it easier for people to get here, whether it's, I guess I haven't been there myself, so I'm not sure exactly what the geography looks like around it. But, also today in the era of Uber, it helps a lot that you wouldn't have to walk 2 miles back in the day, Raff. If that happened today.
No, you probably still would, because the traffic was so jammed up in there. You wouldn't be able to get Uber or Lyft or any of those, those car services in there. So it'd be, I don't know. It's
flexible to you then. I'm maybe am being too.
I think there's always a way. You can always fix everything and you can always find it. But then if they did that, then UCLA would probably be tempted to stay, which I'd be fine with if UCLA wanted to stay at the Rose Bowl. That's fine. That's like Creighton playing at the College World Series. You're not like, well, we only play the College World Series here. So if UCLA, if they could make it, so where UCLA would want to stay and play there, and I'd be good with that too. But I just think that being the host stadium for the national championship game, I think that is the place where you could build that history of that's where you want to go, always go into Pasadena. I think always
like, what's is it a track? Like, do they have to build new roads? I guess I'm misunderstanding like where the real problem is. I didn't realize the transportation was that bad trying to get there.
Yeah, you'd have to do some stuff around the stadium just to make it easier. But like I said, if it's just one game a year, like if UCLA leaves, because UCLA, being a distance away from it and the logistics of it, the nightmare. But like if you're playing one national championship game there a year, so be it. You can continue with, what you currently do. So because there's not the stadium, it's held up really well. I mean, the old Coliseum, for instance, now that was a dump. I went out there like 6 or 7 years ago and I took the stadium tour and we got to the very top and the stadium was like pulling apart and they just had like, it was wild, but so yeah.
Yeah, well, the Rose Bowl is old enough to be built with that good old back in the day construction.
Yeah,
you hear that one a lot, but it's a solid piece. And the way it's built too, there's not a lot of points of weaknesses, I guess, when you look at that stadium and its initial design, to where it's going to be one of the easier ones to keep up and renovate. To your point, I don't realize transportation was that bad. It sounds like that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, getting out of there, it is a pain. It's not fun. But like I said, if it's just one game a year, you can overcome that, no problem.
Yeah, there's ways to prep around it, and especially one that big. I mean, when you have games that big, that's when the entire city, you get the local police force helping, guiding traffic, making sure things operate and flow smoothly. When you got to do that on a weekly basis, especially if UCLA became like a powerhouse. If UCLA was a powerhouse, they probably would have moved it already. Like knowing that we get to keep that as a championship game, but like logistics wise, this is a nightmare for our fan base and for us to get here every single week. But yeah, I wonder if we'll ever get to that point though.
It's pretty wild. That one end zone, they probably got 30,000 seats covered up, by the UCLA signs. And you're just thinking like, man, that's all that extra seating that sits there that you could have, for a national championship game. because I think it goes about 101,000, I believe.
Yeah, well, I had to look it up. So it says current seating capacity is 92,000, but in the past it has reached over 104.
Yeah, so
Whether that was finding some new seats, or because obviously if they get rid of the UCLA and you keep that open, then you get to quite a bit more. And I don't know if that's what they mean by like how you get to that 104,000, but the capacity is good, the history is great, transportation is the only iffy factor on there, and then you got to figure out what would UCLA want to do. And that's
and I would think that they end up at SoFi before it's all said and done.
Yeah, it's gonna look kind of awkward in there. I will say though, I feel like it's gonna look. I guess it won't look too much worse than the Rose Bowl though. It looks pretty bare regardless.
Yeah. So, or they'll end up finding. I'm trying to think if there's any smaller stadiums around. I don't think there really is any smaller stadiums around there that they could play in. So it'd either be SoFi or they stay at the Rose Bowl.
The problem is in LA is like the real estate's so expensive to where if they do want to like start up and build a new one, it's just insanely. On top of like the amount of codes that are required and the litigation you have to go through, and that's
not happening.
It's just a nightmare. And it's not to say California sucks. It's just you got a lot of people and a lot of business that live over there, and you got to keep that place functioning. So you end up with all these extra rules that you got to make sure you're passing, and then the taxes on top of it. And I'm not sure what it costs to start from scratch there. But for a school that's really not a football school, I doubt they go down that route. It'd have to be SoFi or I don't know. Maybe there's a big enough high school stadium. I don't want to be disrespectful, but just for reference, like the UCLA set the attendance record this season, just this single season's attendance record because they played Nebraska.
Yep.
6-win team at the time, facing a bad UCLA team. I mean, that was the attendance record. So it's just to kind of point out how bad the attendance has been for the Bruins. And I wonder if it's that big of a problem though. Like maybe it's better if they aren't all the way out there, because now that we're talking about the transportation, maybe it would actually help get more fans to their games.
Yeah, I'm curious to see with the Olympics coming, how the logistics factors of that. I mean, that's going to be wild. I mean, they hosted it back in '84, but man, it's been a big change since 1984 till now. So that's going to be, to people that go out there for the Olympics, I'm going to love to hear their stories.
Well, and I'll say this in the nicest way possible. For the rest of the world, it makes sense for the U.S. to host way more than it does. Now, I get it. It's a great exposure, but you'll see some of those countries that get to host it, and then they spend all this money on building up all the infrastructure, and then after the Olympics leaves, they are left with just empty, brand new stadiums that are just left to rot.
Yep.
In the U.S., we have these stadiums that are already built. We are a huge major sports just sports in general is so big here. There's so many massive arenas and stadiums that we don't need to go out there and go crazy and build a bunch of different new ones and find all this money to get ready for it. A lot of it's here intact already. So the U.S. hosting, especially now, what'd you say, was 84 the last time we hosted?
Yep.
Yeah, so now there's so many new, beautiful arenas.
I guess I take that back. 96 was in Atlanta, but 84 was the last time it was in California.
Okay, but Atlanta is not going to have nearly the same amount of stadiums and available places you can go to than California. So I think it's going to be awesome. Like I do think the U.S., not just to be biased and toot our own horn here, but it makes a ton of sense for us to be an awesome, possibly one of the best locations to host an Olympics.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So it'll be, I heard they said SoFi is hosting like the swimming and stuff. So they'll kind of do what they do with the, not the Civic, the CHI Center where they put in the swimming pools and stuff like that. So that'll be interesting to see how the makeup of SoFi and how they set that up, because I'd assume the track and field will be back at the Coliseum. I'm guessing with I take that back. They got rid of the track.
Yeah. I don't know where they put that. There's obviously tons of great locations you can pick from, but I don't know what the next one would be. Now that the Coliseum
I forgot about that, because I was thinking the Coliseum would host track and field again, but they took the track out. Huh. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.
What's before we go to break here, what's your favorite Olympic event to watch?
Favorite Olympic event to watch? Probably the 100 or the 200, probably.
Those are always good. The swimming always, I love watching the swimming. You can pick quite a few races out of there. The sprinting is good for me. For some reason, that doesn't always tickle my fancy because especially when we get to the 100 and 200, it's like, all right, there's your winners. And it's really cool for that moment. Like for me, the field events, watching the shot putters and then the pole vaulters in particular, it's just stupid. It looks terrifying, especially for the pole vaulters. I mean, the heights that those guys get to, that's to me always like, I like seeing the adrenaline junkies a little bit. And that's what pole vaulters are to me. And then the superhuman strength of just like the shot putters and then the javelin throwers. And then, of course, when you get a Usain Bolt, that's always incredible to watch as well. But
I thought for sure you were going to say breakdancing.
They get rid of that?
Oh no, I think it's back.
How could you possibly make an argument for it? I mean, seriously, Raff, that was such a. I mean this nicest way possible. Nobody was impressed. Like it was.
So you'll have flag football at this Olympics too. So that'll be a heck of a draw just to see which players end up, being for the United States, and then which players have some sort of descent that, where will they go play for other countries, or how that'll shape up.
Wrestling too. Apparently Nebraska wrestling, there's a lot of really, really good U.S. wrestlers to where we might, have one of those years where USA wrestling is pretty dominant. And, it's always crazy. Like, Raff, you probably remember it better than I do. How did we ever get to a point where they were going to get rid of wrestling in the Olympics?
The same way that they got rid of baseball and I believe girls softball gone. I mean,
I could kind of make sense of those two a little bit. I don't think it's the right decision, but because it's not nearly as widespread, but wrestling is so widespread. Yeah, there's definitely techniques and stuff, but that was one I could never understand. I'm like, this one doesn't take a ton of equipment. It's cheap, but just about every country can do it.
Well, also too, the Olympic Committee, it was a lot like the NCAA, or still might be. I haven't not up to date on that, but for a long time there, the ILC was pretty wild, very comparable to the NCAA. So that's how you can see that stuff happens.
Yeah, well, it was kind of funny too. The meeting where they were going to decide, what to keep, what to cut. That was in Russia. Yeah. Russia was not going to let you cut wrestling. like we got dudes wrestling bears. We're getting ready for the stuff right now. You're not going to cut it right in front of us. They're like, all right, fair enough. Yeah, we'll keep it in there. So luckily so, because feels like there's a lot of USA wrestlers that are in a good spot for this upcoming Olympics here. So we could get a really good medal count in wrestling as well. With that being said, we do got to throw it to break here. Don't go anywhere. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports, 93.7 The Ticket. We'll talk to you guys in a little bit.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Bagels & Joe is the perfect place for breakfast or lunch in November. Try their brand new fall sweet trays, including cinnamon rolls, pumpkin chocolate chip muffins, pumpkin cheesecake brownies, and apple croissants. 4 locations in Lincoln and 1 in Seward. Bagels & Joe.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com. Fall is officially here, and Brown's Shoe Fit has just the right style and comfort your feet deserve. Stop in to see a wide selection of all your favorite brands, including Brooks, Hoka, Echo, Keen, and many more. At Brown's Shoe Fit, they take the time to measure your feet to ensure proper fit. They also have the largest selection of Uggs and Hokas in Lincoln. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q.
If you're a business owner, I want you to think about the amount of time you've spent worrying about safety and security. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies design custom solutions for security, communication, and so much more. From automated security to secure video conferencing, their team sits down with you to get to know you and what your business needs. Manage your operations and get notified when there is suspicious activity. Save time and cut back on stress. Diode Tech always keeps you in the know. Contact them today at 402-793-5124.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in segment number 2. We got Chris Raff streaming in, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. You guys are welcome to join in the streams, the Start Him and text line, all great things to tune into. Chris Raff talked a lot of the Rose Bowl, some of the bowl games. Also had some interesting comments from Matt Rule on the podium. He had some comments that I quickly want to get your thoughts on. Today, talking about NIL and how they maybe don't have the most money out of everybody, but they really, really feel good about what they have. And then even go as far as to say, I bet you there's some players that left that maybe even wish they hadn't have. Pretty bold, but really confident. And it kind of sets things up for maybe that deal, that extension that he got. And we kind of talked about that. I feel like that was part of the leverage. It sounds like he got the leverage he maybe wanted.
Yep. No, I agree with you there. I think he's kind of like what do they say? The Cheshire Cat. I think he knows that he's what he's got. And I think they've given him the backing that he was hoping for. So I think now it's time where Nebraska's got to go out and, show to get those players that they want, but then you got to have those results on the field. So I think he's confident that he's able to go out and get those players, maybe the ones that we lost over the last couple of years. Now he's able to go out and get the ones that maybe slipped away. So it's going to be fun to watch and see over the next, year or two and see how it progresses and what they're able, who they're able to bring in and what happens.
Yeah, it's always interesting. You get all that money, and then it is a little bit of like, all right, well, now you kind of put it out there, and the expectation's on you to go out there and win because you just told everybody, next year we have so much money. We can get just about the guys that we feel like we want. And now if we, say next year rolls around and it's struggling and it's the schedule next year is tough too. Like if you want to look at it, it's we don't know because it always changes a little bit, but the teams on there right now look like intimidating teams if the schedule were to start today. So he kind of put it out there. So next year will be a big year, and we still got 2 games to go left in this one. TJ Lateef looked awesome. Career day from Emmett Johnson. And again, we got the attendance record for UCLA this season. Shout out to all the Husker fans that traveled. They got 2 games left. And Penn State almost beat Indiana. And Iowa almost beat Oregon. It looks like a tough couple games here to end the year.
Yep. And then, you know, I knew that they were going to be tough no matter what happened in these games, because going to Penn State, I mean, it's always imposing. So now that they performed well, you probably should have beat Indiana. Just an amazing catch. But you've got, Penn State, that they're a wounded animal. So, and you're going to get them at home. I'm guessing it probably won't be their senior day, but it might be. So you have that, and then Iowa's Iowa. I mean, they're just a tough, hard-nosed football team, like they usually always are, and they've given Nebraska fit. So they definitely they've got their hands full. Want to go back to Emmett Johnson? Big push today. Coach Roll on the podium talking about Emmett Johnson. If I am the Nebraska, if I'm marketing, sports information, I'm probably laying off the Heisman Trophy talk. Like, for him to get Heisman Trophy consideration, probably not as much as what he probably could garner. But I think if you're the SID department and you're marketing, I think you go heavy on getting him the Doak Walker Award and being first team All-American. But I think he has a legitimate shot at the Doak Walker, and I think that's something that they could really get the marketing out there for the Doak Walker, because I think he has a shot at being a finalist for that Heisman Trophy. I just think you need a little bit more name recognition and team recognition. I'm not sure if Nebraska's up to where they can promote for a Heisman yet.
Yeah, me and Austin Norman talked about that from 6 to 7. Like, he's definitely in contention for the Doak Award right now. Like, yes. He is, the numbers he's putting up. Again, he's a leading in the country in that top 3, top 5 when we're looking at rushing, passing yards, the receiving yards. He kind of gets that extra element where he separates himself as well. And then he had 100 rushing, 100 receiving yard game just this last weekend versus UCLA. He's got some numbers, and then he's got some big time numbers in certain games. The Doak Award makes sense. That the problem with the Heisman Award is you have to be on a good team, and not just a good team, like a team that's probably in contention, as we've seen in years past. And then you have to have that quote unquote Heisman drive moment, or that Heisman run, where for a lot of these players, they have that stretch. Like, just looking at Mendoza, who's probably the front runner, people are going to be looking at that Penn State drive of that game and being like, wow, yep, see, that is Heisman material. And that's kind of the stuff that really sets the scene for, people. When you have good stats and you have good numbers, it doesn't always mean that people are going to do the research. They're going to look at the best teams, and they're going to look at who's leading the best teams. I don't think they're going to go super far back and look like, well, let's see, say if Nebraska loses their next 2 games, what does 7-win Nebraska have? Did we miss someone? They normally just don't. Even if you're 8 wins, it's tough, especially at running back. We saw it with Ndamukong Suh, who was phenomenal, but that team never had a marquee win. Maybe if they beat Texas, they have it, but they never really had one that year. And he definitely probably should have got it, but we saw how it went.
Well, you look at too, like at the running back position, as the years went by, the running back position to win the Heisman, to do that, you've got to put up some extremely crazy eye-popping numbers. Like, look at Ashton Genty last year for Boise State. The statistics he was putting up, probably had a definite a chance. Should have probably have won the Heisman. I think Travis Hunter got just a lot of publicity for playing both sides of the ball. But you look at Emmett, he's having a great season, but it's not like those crazy eye-popping numbers where he's rushing for like 200 yards a game, and the touchdowns are up there, and the all-purpose, they're decent, but it's not like what you think of as like that crazy, insane, Mike Rozier Heisman Trophy campaign, over 2,000 yards rushing like that. But man, the more I look at it, I'm just like, if you're that SID department, man, I am pushing out Doak Walker as much as possible. because I gotta believe he'll be a finalist for the Doak Walker when it's announced. And then, like I said, not having, that was another thing that I saw that just I was just kind of mesmerized, but it's true. Nebraska having a first team I-back, All-American. I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, hopefully he can, crack the glass there and, become a, first team All-American. I'd say right now he's in the pole position. However, you've got two, pretty darn good defenses that he's going to have to, face with, Penn State and Iowa. So he's got his work cut out for him still, because like they always say, it's like, what have you done for me lately? And if he, goes out and doesn't have two, big stellar games, he's going to lose that momentum and, also lose that momentum for the Doak Walker. But I think if I'm the SID department, I'm definitely pushing him for the Doak Walker.
Yeah, I mean, going to go back to the Heisman. Like last year, we had Ashton Genty getting Barry Sanders numbers.
Yep.
And he didn't get the Heisman. Travis Hunter did. Now you could argue Travis Hunter was a generational talent as well, but I mean, like, again, we had a running back that possibly could do everything you could do to get yourself that award, and he still fell short. Yep. And that's why it's always so tough. To me, it's not a disrespect thing. It's just like, hey, man, I know how this stuff votes. Yep. Even if you are that guy, like people just, it just hasn't ever really worked that way. To where if you're not on that winning team, if you don't have that drive, and if you're not playing quarterback, like maybe if he was playing quarterback and had some stupid numbers on this team and we had 8 wins, 9 wins, he could still get it. It's so hard to do at that tailback. Any position that's not quarterback is just really, really tough. So I think the Doak Award is what I'd be kind of boasting for as well. Because you mentioned poll-wise, he's pretty much there. 2 games left to go, though. On the bright side, they get a bye week. And Emmett Johnson could probably use a bye week for how many carries he's had in these past 2 games in particular. Does that, kind of help your odds of not only Emmett Johnson's performance to end the year, but just on their odds of going to Happy Valley? I looked it up. It is their senior day because they got Michigan State on the road, Nebraska, their last home game, and then they're back on the road with Rutgers to finish the year. Yeah. So it'll be senior day for them, but at least we get a bye week. It's kind of look at Penn State after they had a really good week and figure out how to slow them down.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough game. I mean, it's like senior day. It brings out all those emotions. Players playing their final game.
Well, nobody wants to play bad in front of their mom and dad.
Yeah, Nebraska will have their work cut out for them. But like I said, they have a bye week where they can get in there. I thought Nebraska did a fantastic job of handling, the freshman quarterback, TJ Lateef. I thought the play calling was, something, and it's crazy. It's kind of what a lot of people that was looking for out of Nebraska. Like you actually saw like an identity out of Nebraska, how they were setting up the plays and how they weren't, it wasn't just run, pass. It was mixing it up. There would be a pass run, I just thought Nebraska's offense, and I'll tell you what, the blocking, the run blocking, if you get a chance, the receivers down the field, on the second level. I mean, there was movement out of the offensive line that I have not seen. Like we've ran the ball in previous years, but you never really saw the movement of the offensive line. And I thought that offensive line did a heck of a job, getting down, the second and third level. So I was proud of the way the offensive line blocked, and that's something that they're going to have to keep up for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't think they gave up a sack either. I think it was a 0 sack game. Now, given TJ Lateef and the play calling, we're able to get the ball out quickly, and TJ Lateef did a good job. But to your point, I was seeing linemen like 30, 40 yards downfield, still pushing. It was, and then, to credit the wide receivers as well, as great as Emmett Johnson is, he doesn't spring some of those open unless he's getting that really good downfield blocking. I mean, it was a really good team effort. And then when you have that type of blocking, how many times do we see 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3? Dan Holgerson's play calling just got 10 times easier because you got UCLA on their heels. And, that's where it's going to keep happening, especially if next week TJ Lateef plays good as well. But this is where I don't want to get anywhere near the quarterback, battle competition yet. That was one game The offensive line did such a good job, I thought, and it set up in a really good way to not only make the game easier for Holgerson's play calling, but also just what is TJ Lateef looking at here? Now, he played phenomenal, don't get me wrong, and if he keeps playing well, then we can go ahead and have the conversation, but, there was so much clicking well in that game to where I'm having a hard time figuring out what that thing was, or if it was finally the culmination of what Holgerson has been trying to get this offense to do in a while. There's a lot of people to give credit to, and that's where I was pleasantly surprised by how well everything clicked. I mean, what's more surprising, Emmett Johnson having a 100 game through the air and through the ground, or TJ Lateef being perfect all the way up until the third quarter, late in the third quarter at that?
Yeah, I had probably a tie. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, never happening in Nebraska football history, 100 to 100. I mean, I'd probably say, TJ going 11 for 11 to start the game. I guess that'd probably be, for me, maybe a little bit more surprising because you knew Emmett had the capabilities to go 100 to 100. TJ Lateef, surprising coming out with, being perfect, pretty much through three quarters. But it'll be interesting to see how it changes. But I was going to talk to you about the offensive line. We've seen the special teams this year and where they've came around and like they talk about like not so much the buy-in, but like the enthusiasm, wanting to be the best. And I see that with the offensive line, where I see that not just the offensive line, I see that with the receivers down the field, just that enthusiasm to make the block downfield to try and spring Emmett Johnson. And that's when you have that want to, that's the key. Like there's run blocking and then there's wanting to run block. And that's kind of what you're seeing this Nebraska offense start to do, to where they realize that, hey, if I make this block downfield, I can spring him. He takes it 30 instead of 6, and you're seeing results of that right now. So Nebraska's definitely on an uptick, but like I said, that all can be, destroyed by, laying an egg against, Iowa and Penn State. They're two tough teams. I mean, Iowa, you watch time and time again, you watch them. I mean, they are, I mean, they gave Oregon everything they wanted, and you know how Iowa puts, Nebraska up on that pedestal. So they're definitely going to give everything Nebraska wants. So Nebraska's definitely got some tough games to end the year, but that's where they've got to take care of their business, and they just can't get lost. They've just got to continue to play their game.
Yeah, well, and hopefully we can keep leaning on that run game, if we need to, or if we just simply want to.
Do not get entitled.
Yes. We've talked about that before. Definitely don't want to do that. Final thing on the offensive line, now, just the blocking as a whole, I think it does make it easier, through the course of the year, when I was like, all right, fellas, we got Emmett Johnson in the freaking backfield.
Yeah.
If we block, he will be running down the field. He will read it right. He's got great vision. He can make a guy miss. If we block, we will get this first down. And I think you're kind of maybe starting to see that as well, of like realizing such an elite talent back there. And you kind of have that hope and optimism where, if you get some good blocks, like you got a really good running back who's going to put you in a good position to go and win some games. With that being said,
he also makes offensive linemen look good sometimes when they miss their blocks, because he's got that ability to break tackles.
Yeah. I mean, really good at just pressing the hole. And then just, if it's not there, to your point, if the lineman can't get it, he'll press it and then just bounce out. And then all of a sudden, there he goes streaking down the field, and the offensive line looks great. That's the offensive numbers. But yeah, it's just a good culmination of things. And my hope is that things are just clicking at the right time. Maybe we're just peaking at the right time. At least that's my hope. With that being said, though, we do got to go to break. Don't go anywhere. This is Raff's Good Take on Sports. We'll have a short break here to get back on time. Don't go anywhere.
After a long, hot summer, are you ready for fall? What about your home? Is your heating system ready for cooler temperatures ahead? Call Bryant for your fall heating check. No matter what brand of equipment you own, Bryant's trained technicians will thoroughly clean and inspect your furnace or heat pump to make sure you stay warm, safe, and comfortable. Call today to schedule your home heating check. 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier power sports dealership. Get geared up for savings like you've never seen before during Elway Days. Their biggest sale of the year runs October 14th through the 18th when every red tagged machine is priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Don't miss out on these epic savings. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at the 27th and I-80 location.
Imagine hitting rewind on your life 10, even 20 years. With testosterone therapy from Limitless Male, you can turn back the aging clock and get your edge, energy, and confidence back. If you've lost your drive, sleep deprived, muscle loss, belly fat, irritable, you're not the guy you once were. Get your T levels checked at Limitless Male. More and more men are realizing hormone replacement can turn back the clock. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seeding Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Serve Nebraska believes that volunteers are part of what makes Nebraska great. Each year, the Step Forward Awards honors volunteers from across the state who serve their communities in outstanding ways. We hope you'll join us this year at the Step Forward Awards luncheon on October 27th in Omaha. Help us thank volunteers with a celebration to remember. To register, visit serve.nebraska.gov and click Register Now. We hope to see you there. Paid for by Serve Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to Raff's Good Take on Sports on 93.7 The Ticket. With all the good takes you need, here is your host, Chris Raff.
Welcome back in. Raff's Good Take on Sports. Wrapping things up here. 93.7 The Ticket. You guys are always welcome to join in via the Start Him and Text line or any of these streams. But Raff, as tradition, last segment, the floor is yours as always. Let me pause the music. All right, floor is yours, DP. Or not DP. First Raff. Where do you want to go with it?
All right, everybody. Today's Raff's Good Take goes out to my brother-in-law, John Springrose. It is his birthday today. John's a great dad, great husband, great son, just great person. Loves to fish, loves to hunt. Just wanted to wish him a very happy birthday, John. You are Raff's Good Take.
Are you an outdoorsy kind of guy? I know we talked about fishing the one day. Would you ever go like hunting, trapping, things like that?
Yeah, I have my moments. I like to deer hunt, so to deer hunt. Like to
rifle or bow hunting?
Rifle. Never been bow hunting before, so
it's
maybe one day we'll see.
Bit nerve-wracking for bow hunting. I'll never forget. I have this one friend. Let's just say this one friend is a lot stronger than me, and he was pulling a lot of weight on that compound bow, and I was like, oh, well, let me see if I can pull it back. Just I looked like such a wimp, and I was like, yeah, I'm not much of a compound bow kind of guy. Just You know, that it is a whole new skill when you do that. And shout out to people who are willing to do that. I'm not much of a hunter anyways. I did enjoy trapping back in the day. Did you ever do any of that, Raff?
No trapping. No. The only thing I tried to trap was my wife, and I finally trapped her.
Well, hey, you're 1 for 1 then. I think that's all that matters, right?
Well, yeah, maybe. Better not get myself in trouble. Yep. 1 for 1.
There you go, Raff. There you go. We'll clip that and you can send it to her. But nonetheless, that is going to be Raff's good take on sports. Appreciate you, Raff, as always, here on a Monday night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. As always, we go all the way till midnight. Me and DP coming up next, Late Night in Lincoln. That's Chris Raff. I'm Harrison Arns. We'll talk to you tomorrow.